trainee.
Trainee, yeah.
So you rang the bell.
I did.
What happened? Tell us that
I
story.
did. Actually, I tried out multiple times, but I finally got in. I was there for a couple months right before Hell Week. I got injured really bad, and I was hospitalized, and I was forced basically to ring the bell.
For people who don't know, ringing the bell means
you quit, basically, yeah. You basically give up your opportunity to become Navy SEAL.
And that was the dream of your life to be a Navy SEAL?
That was the dream of my life.
What was that moment like when you had no choice because your knees were so incapacitated, the doctors say you can't continue? Tell me that moment when you hit the bell.
So my choices were re-up in the military, do another 4 years, and go back class to the next class, or just leave the training completely. And so when I chose that, it was just it was really bad for me, because I saw myself in the middle of nowhere doing satellites, talking to satellites and doing a lot of computing stuff. And to not see that in front of you was really tough.
Yeah. But you decided to start a company shortly thereafter.
Yes. So
tell us about this company, Skycatch, and what are we seeing here?
So Chris Anderson has done an incredible job at making these guys really fully autonomous in the air.
Yeah.
Follow GPS, go to location, take a photo. What we've done is remove the friction on the other side, which is swapping batteries, getting that data out to the cloud, charging the battery. That's basically what we do.
Okay, so a drone that you've built is a specialized drone here? Will land on this? This is where the drone lives?
Exactly. So the drone autonomously land on top of the ground station. It'll move it so that it aligns itself with the arm.
Okay.
It'll take the battery out.
Can we see that?
Yeah.
Let's see that.
Let's give it a try.
Now, where are you at? Is this the first prototype?
This is called Evolution 1.
Evolution
1. This year is all Evolution era. Evolution 1, Evolution 2. Evolution 2 will have a fully autonomous casing. So it'll open up by itself. It'll close by itself. Evolution 3 will
The hard case will open by itself,
right,
essentially.
Absolutely.
So you put this in the middle of a crop, or the middle of a field somewhere,
right.
And then remotely you can open the case.
Right. So you can be in New York, or you can be anywhere, and say, I want some data in this area, and you can get ground truth, immediate data in real time.
Okay, so here we have the drone is resting in its home, its nest, if you will.
Right.
And it lands in here. It's sort of like a volcano or something.
Right.
And the cone. It lands in the cone.
Right.
And then what's going on here?
So first of all, the UAV uses a camera to land itself using computer vision.
Okay.
And it also uses a directional microwave beam with receivers on each arm to guide itself down to the ground station. So that's very effective. And then what's happening now is looking for a new let's see.
So these are batteries here in these cases.
Yeah.
So this is like this is where all the battery packs charge. How long does a battery last on one of these now?
Just about. We've got it tuned to last about 20 to 25 minutes.
20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah, it really comes down to the battery, the type of motors, the propellers. You actually have to do a lot of work to make sure that you tune all of it together.
And so, a normal person, if you wanted to do crop dusting or whatever, and you wanted to go out okay, here we go. So it's moving, and what's happening here? The drone is spinning for some reason?
Yeah, so as soon as it lands, the robot basically adjusts the UAV so that it can
look, it's going to get the battery.
Right, so it's going to go in and pull the battery out.
Wow. So that is the issue, is the battery doesn't last that long, and a human has to be involved in flying it.
Right, and also the data. So when you collect a lot of the data, you want to have that data available to you right away. So ground station, on all the places that we're working with, like we work with mining companies, construction firms, all of them are fully wired typically. So some of the deployments are usually fully connected in terms of bandwidth to the ground station. And the battery itself has an SD card.
Oh, the SD card's in the battery.
Right.
So it's taking that out, it puts it back into charge,
right.
Rotates, takes another battery up,
right.
And then it can go and do another mission.
You can go out and do another mission.
Chris, did you ever think somebody would build something like this when you were building that little circuit board?
I saw sort of science fiction portrayals of this and thought, someday that would be awesome. And then Chris just comes along and does it.
Yeah. I mean, and this is part of your strategy to go open source and say, hey, we're not going to own everything.
Yeah.
is what really enables another company to do this, because you couldn't have done it without his enabling technology, and you don't have the time to do this.
Right. There are an infinite number of vertical applications, and this is 1984 of the PC. We've got the PC. What's it for? We're going to need developers to figure that out. And the great thing about it is, like maybe the iPhone. The iPhone was a great phone, web, email, and then came the App Store. And we're at the App Store right now for drones. This is a great example of an application that is a perfect vertical specialty for a company.
What will this cost a company? I mean, we're here, this is 750, this is a more industrial version, it looks like. What would it cost a company to put one of these out and survey, 10 times a day, the mine?
Yeah, so just to give you an example, some of these companies we're talking to on the mining industry, they're spending about $300K on equipment just to lose their paying of stockpiles. Now that's just one purpose. Now load it up, now it's ready to take off and do a mission. So we're charging for multiple uses. We're charging upwards in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for the full solution, which includes what we call the autonomous data retrieval solution, and also all the dashboards and the data computer vision side of things.
Do we envision a time when every home has something like this built into the attic, and if you're not home and you want to see what's going on, or you want a security system, it just flies a routine mission around the neighborhood to check out what's going on?
Very likely that you'll see these guys deploy in cities, neighborhood watch, and things like that. We've gotten all sorts of different types of inbounds that are with very creative different usage. Parking lot security, car dealership to go check on cars and see if they're available, all sorts of different things people have reached out to us for.
How rugged do you think this would be? So if this was the Amazon or something, and you had a nice hilltop and you wanted to just monitor what was going on in the rainforest for conservation reasons or whatever, or studies, could you just leave this parked out there for a couple of years and have it just...
That's the goal. So our next era of ground stations, we call them Discovery era. Discovery 3 will be fully autonomous, and it's basically one of our clients wants to have these deployed in Chile, and then inspect and do ground truth and surveillance in all of their operations.
It's amazing. And both of your companies are venture-backed now?
Yes.
When you came to the venture capitalists, I don't know how many years ago, did they understand this and think it was a market, or did they just laugh you out of the room?
It's interesting. We did our Series A at the end of 2012. There, when we got no, which wasn't often, but when we got no, it was like it was a hobby thing. There's not a real market there. 12 months later, it was so evident that it was a market that when we ever got no, it was there. Well, we think it's going to be huge, but we're not sure you're going to win. So given the choice between those two problems, they will definitely choose it's a huge market, you've got to win, rather than we're not sure there's a market at all. So yeah, I think at this point, we're in a bit of a drone bubble actually right now. There's just incredible excitement about this. People, you start to see them on parks. You have the Amazon announcement, which people recognize some of our technology in that as well.
Was that Amazon announcement just PR to get Jeff? Not that I would ever accuse Jeff of showmanship, but was that a PR move? Did they have any intention of doing something like that?
Amazon's serious. They are really doing it. Now, whether they actually deliver to the home, as opposed to maybe warehouse to warehouse initially, remains to be seen.
Now, what about the legality of flying these, right? Everybody's concerned about flying over people. Will these be allowed to fly over our cities or towns, and under what circumstance? And what do you think is the reasonable societal compromise with these?
Sure. Well, today we're flying under the FAA regs, which says that for consumer use, when you're not charging for it, you have to stay under 400 feet, within visual line of sight, which is about a mile, and away from built-up areas. So you cannot fly illegally over a town or people's houses. Commercial use actually is not even allowed in the United States right now, but there's a rulemaking process that will by 2016 or so. Outside the United States, the rules are somewhat different, but in general, it's every country, or every developed country has a rule about not flying over people's houses. Not just for privacy, although that's a real issue, but also for safety purposes. So I think that people get very excited about the notion of drone delivery, taco copters, etc. That's the last thing you want to do is like spinning blades and people.
Right.
As far away from each other as possible.
What's the biggest accident? We tried to get this out of the pocket drones guys yesterday. They wouldn't really say, but somebody's kept a list of all the accidents. Nobody's been killed by a drone yet.
Well, people have been killed by radio-controlled helicopters. helicopters,
They have.
planes? Absolutely, yeah. Some guy in Brooklyn was killed last year by a radio-controlled helicopter, not a drone. Drones are typically defined as capable full autonomy.
Right.
But people have had RC helicopters and planes for 50 years. And yeah, these things can be dangerous.
And so, what is the application we'll see? I know we saw real estate people selling this, like to do flyovers of like mansions and estates to sell them. Is that business is now illegal?
Well, it's a little bit the gray zone. First of all, these are FAA guidelines, not law. Second of all, private land, resolve some of the issues. We're working on something we call a one-button building mapper, which is sort of you point to the building on Google Maps, press a button, the copter goes around the building twice, uploads the data to something like Autodesk's 123Catch, which is a stitching application, and creates a 3D model. That's something people want. Golf courses or high-end real estate. Right now, if you don't charge for it, if you're using your own vehicle on your own property, it's probably okay. If someone's charging for the service, that probably is considered commercial use.
Christian and Chris, this is amazing technology and it's super fascinating. Thanks for sharing with us. Big round of applause. Well done. It's incredible. Thanks for coming out and showing it. And every